Well, hello again, everyone. Thank you for joining us today to learn about how to maximize our deductions when we or a client purchase a building. Joining us today is Jerry Lotz with Cost Segregation, who's going to tell us about how to carve up a building into its component pieces so that we can take advantage of the maximum deductions that are available to our clients. So, Jerry, take it away.
Well, thank you, Bill. As always, a pleasure to work with you and certainly your membership. This is our fourth year now going into of being a corporate partner sponsor, and have immensely enjoyed every single bit of it.
Oh, well, good.
Thank you. Yeah, the toughest time is right now though, when I can't go and see a smiling face personally across the table or shake a hand or give a hug, but we're all doing the same thing. So
Right.
um,
Exactly.
this is the next best thing. So I love what I do. I work for myself and represent a company in Baton Rouge, Louisiana called Cost Segregation Services Incorporated, CSSI for short.
Mm-hmm.
They've actually been around about 18 years now and have completed projects on over 22,000 plus properties across every state.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm really blessed to be partnered with them. They are just the salt of the earth people. I can go to them with the oddest request, and darn it, they'll find a way to get it done.
Well, that's good.
And they, as far as consulting with tax professionals or building owners, I can always get one of the VPs to set up some special time to get on a three-way call or a Zoom with me and have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation to educate some, whether they're a client or not, whether we're actually doing work for them or not.
Sure.
Just part of the culture that's instilled down there. And the best thing that I like is that I can go to bed at night knowing that they're going to go up to the line as far as a tax code is concerned
Mm-hmm.
and look over it, but they'll never cross it. So
Well,
so they
that's a
do the
good
right,
thing.
yeah, they do the right thing. So I was when I first started doing this about 5 years ago. I was really intrigued when I first heard of the concept. It was totally foreign to me, totally blew my mind that you could take a building and depreciate certain pieces of that building more quickly than others.
Uh-huh.
And it could result in significant tax savings. So,
Sure,
uh,
especially now with the 100% bonus depreciation
oh my
rules.
gosh, that has been like manna from heaven. Some of the recent tax laws, the tangible property regulations of 2013-14, Tax
Mm-hmm.
Cut and Job Act with the 100% bonus depreciation, and now the CARES Act has got some unique benefits in it too, as far as that net operating loss carryback
Uh-huh.
for owners. So, the combination of the three of those tax laws has really helped to put cost segregation on the map.
Well, that's
Years,
awesome.
yeah, well, years ago, when Jim Shreve, the owner of the company, started it, he started out banging on building owner doors, and they looked like at him like he had two heads, and that the application of cost segregation was reserved for the mega $1 million building complexes,
Right.
and the big four or the big eight accounting firms were the only ones who had access to it, and those studies were way expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But now, over the years, through experience and technology, firms, there are a number of firms out there that provide cost segregation studies, um, but not a whole lot of them will work with properties valued down as low as $200,000.
Okay.
So, and for a lot of tax professionals have clients that have buildings 200, 250, $300,000,
Sure.
and I always say whether a building or property is newly bought, newly built, even if it's been owned for a number of years, we'd love to provide a free pre-analysis of the estimated tax savings that can be in that property.
Uh-huh. Okay. Is the analysis that's done, is that kind of like an appraisal where it has like a limited shelf life? Um, or is it,
Um, well, it doesn't necessarily have a limited shelf life. There are a few of the numbers that can change. In other words, if we do a pre-analysis, a free estimate, to
right,
determine how much we feel we can find by actually doing that study, that
right,
pre-analysis, if we did that today, looking at tax year 2019,
right,
right? So our numbers would be based off of the tax year 2019. If in 2020 we did a pre-analysis on that same property, the numbers would change a little bit because the client has already taken 1 year of standard depreciation under their belt.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the basic concept in our work would not change there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now, the cost segregation reports that you put together, um, I'm assuming that they stand up to IRS audit
That's
and
correct.
review?
That's correct, Bill. So we'll come out with the estimate, the pre-analysis estimate, and that'll give our estimations as far as how much additional deductions we feel we can find, as well as our defined cost for the product. Then, when we actually go and do the study, there's a much more elaborate report that is done at the conclusion that breaks down and puts values on all those building systems,
Right.
all the individual assets like the carpets, countertops, cabinets, special electricity, special plumbing, even the lines on the parking lot have a particular value on them. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so those detailed reports are then given to the tax professional, and that's the tax professional's credence really for applying those numbers to the tax return. Now, there have been in the 22,000 properties or so that we've done, some of the clients that we've done work for, not because we've done work for, but for other reasons, something else comes out of the closet. Some of those clients have gone under audit. And when that happens, the IRS drags everything into it. Our work is part of it. In the times that our work has been pulled into an audit situation, the IRS has never overturned any of the work that we've done on behalf of clients.
Wow. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about that. That's golden. So,
Right.
and we actually there's no additional charge for us to defend the work that we've done in
Okay.
that case. I mean, we come out with a price for a study, whether it's $10,000 or $5,850 or whatever it is, and
Right.
if for some reason that client comes under audit a year or 2 years down the road or whatever, we'll do what we need to do to substantiate our work on behalf of the client.
Sure. Okay.
Yep.
Um, what a, what goes into the process of doing a cost segregation study? You were saying like looking at building systems and parking lot lines or whatever.
Good
Um,
question.
I mean, what is it that you're looking for?
Um, well, the process really starts with um, the pre-analysis phase,
Okay.
where we go and offer that estimate of tax savings.
Okay.
And some people bring us in to do that at the very onset when they buy a property. Some people will have us come in when when they are building a property just after they finish building it, and sometimes even before they built it. They'll give us the budget and ask us to prepare an analysis. And some people ask us to do the work after they've had a property for a number of years.
Okay.
So we'll prepare the estimate. The client will sign on the dotted line. If our fee for the property is $8,000, the client agrees for us to do the work. Then the client gives us $4,000, half of the money, as a
Mm-hmm.
deposit up front. And then we really begin collecting all the data. We'll collect any construction documents that there may have, any AIA documents, any past appraisals that were done on the
Uh-huh.
property, any architectural drawings that there may be on the property, and all that information goes to our engineers and analysts in Louisiana.
Okay.
Once they have that information, somebody physically goes to the property to do a site inspection
Uh-huh.
where we look at every nook and cranny of that property and actually take hundreds of photographs and send all of that to our engineers and analysts in Louisiana.
Okay.
Once we have at home office that complete package, which is the signed engagement letter, all the photos, the site visit documentation, and all the relevant building documents, then from that point on, it goes to the official engineering stage.
Okay.
So the engineering stage itself can take between 4 to 6 weeks when we are not in the thick of tax season.
Okay.
And if we're in the thick of tax season, it can take up to 8 weeks. But
Okay.
it touches multiple hands in the engineering phase, which is a good thing. So there are a lot of checks and double checks and counterbalances and quality control measures that we apply to a project before we release the numbers.
Okay.
Once we release the numbers to the tax professional and to the client, they look at that, and approve it and say, okay, yes, this is fine. The client pays the final half of the bill. The final full narrative report is issued at that same time as well. So the meat of the study really is contained, if it's just a single building, is contained in about 3 or 4 or 5 pages
Okay.
of calculations. The rest of the 30 pages that accompany that are backup information. There's some copies of some of the photos, and basically we lay out our methodology according to the tax code for coming up with the numbers that we've calculated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of a narrative report, and total it's 25, 30. I've seen them up to 100 pages for apartment complexes that have a half a dozen buildings in them, because each building has to have its own separate set of calculations.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, as part of the unit of property, tangible property regulation. So,
Right.
yeah, and that's so. Uh, it's funny. I'll get requests from tax professionals, and they'll say, here it is, beginning of February, and they're doing a March 15th filing. It's the heat of tax season, and they'll say, look, I got a client. Is there any way we can get this done by March 15th? And every once in a while, I'll have to ask home office to pull a rabbit out of the hat and get it done a little more quickly.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, you know how that goes. But, by and large, it is a 4 to 6 week process in the engineering phase from the time that they have all their information until they release those final numbers. And inside tax season, it's, can be up to 8 weeks.
Sure. Well, what is it that we can do to get a good lead for you?
Tax professionals have got a book of clients, and they are, I've found, probably one of the most trusted professions amongst clients. I mean, a consumer or a business owner might take their car to 2 or 3 different places, or they might call 2 or 3 HVAC companies to do work for them. But when it comes to that tax professional, the tax professional word has a lot of weight with their clients.
Mm-hmm.
And clients typically, once they're with a tax professional and feel that the accountant is treating them fairly, they're very, very slow to leave one's tax professional and move to another one, because it's really a trusted bond that is formed. And,
Right.
As far as what the tax professionals can do to help us, to help their clients, basically take a look through your book of clients. If you've got somebody who has a building, even if they've owned it for 5, 6, 8, 10 years or more, there's still a darn good possibility we may be able to find some tax savings there. Let us run those free pre-analysis. We'll do all the legwork. All we'll need is a depreciation schedule in that sector. Or, if somebody is getting ready to buy a building. All we'll need is a few basic pieces of information to run the numbers. And, we come back and have a discussion with the tax professional and the client. And if it makes financial sense, great. And in some cases, it might not make financial sense. If the client is looking to buy a building and fix it and flip it, may not
Right.
be the best candidate to do what we do. But
Okay.
I'd certainly would prefer having, since we've got this close relationship with MSATP, I'd love to be able to see one of your tax professionals approach this subject with one of their clients and allow us to help do that, as opposed to another firm approach that same client and say, well, has your tax professional talked to you about cost segregation?
Right.
So, we've seen tax professionals win clients and lose clients based on their acceptability and adapting some of these more current applications like cost segregation. And,
Sure.
tax professionals, that tax code's 3,000 plus pages deep. And, you guys can, in all due respect, you all can only, you know about an inch deep of 3,000 pages plus wide. Our charge is to know the building tax code, but 3,000 pages deep and only an inch wide segment.
Right.
Yeah, so we're specialists in that building cost segregation area, and it's our job to do those calculations, deliver those numbers to you, so that you can apply them to the return.
Okay. Um, as far as a good lead for you, obviously somebody who owns a commercial building is a good lead for you.
Correct.
But people who own rental houses, are those typically any kind of decent lead there?
They are, dependent on the value. Now, somebody, and I run into a number of these people, will get a great deal. They'll buy 5 dilapidated row homes, and they'll pay $30,000-$40,000 a piece for them, and put another $30,000 or $40,000 into each of them. So the build, while it's a nice rentable property for somebody, that building basis is, only $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. It probably does not make economic sense to bring us in to do that on that
Okay.
low of a basis. So when you
Right.
get into the $200,000 plus range, by all means, yeah, we're on top of that a lot. We do a lot of studies on residential rental properties.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, can you take a moment and give us how to get in touch with you about getting a building study done, and making an introduction to you of one of their clients?
Absolutely. I do have a website. Of course, there's a link on the MSATP website to my
Right.
website at CostSeg Energy Solutions. And if you just Google Jerry Lotz cost segregation, it'll bring up my website somewhere in that Google page. But it's CostSegges.com. And then certainly phone number, my cell number is 410-960-8269.
Okay.
Either way is great to get in touch with me.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Jerry. And if there's anything that we can do for you, please let us know.
Always a pleasure. You got a great group at the office there, a great group of members, and I've really enjoyed visiting over the years and becoming friendly with a lot of the members. And I look forward to getting back to that live interaction soon.
Yep, we are too, believe me. And you're
Yeah.
one of the good guys. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the opportunity. Take care.